So after shipping WoW, Wrath of the Lich King, again, many consider it to be one of the great expansions for WoW, you stepped down as WoW's game director and switched to developing Titan. This epic, huge game that promised to be the sort of the MMO to end all MMOs. I mean, it's kind of a legendary vision for a game, right? It's gigantic, with a lot of, like you said, a brilliant team, a team that's now hardened and knows how to do a great game. But it was canceled after 7 years in development. So tell me, what was the vision of the game and what happened?
Sure. So as we were experiencing success with World of Warcraft, there was this concept in the studio that WoW wasn't going to last forever. WoW would be maybe successful for 5 years and eventually kind of age out. And the studio would be in real trouble if we didn't have another massively multiplayer online game sort of waiting in the wings. So starting around, I want to say 2006, maybe 2005, um, the talk of starting a team really picked up momentum. And we were working on Burning Crusade. Rob Pardo took the helm to start sort of Titan development. We didn't even really have a team then. And I remember being like embroiled in Burning Crusade and going to Titan meetings. And Rob pulled a group, from kind of across the company. And we started talking about what this next MMO could be and when it would get going. And eventually it started in earnest, like real development around 2007. The first team members joined. And it was a real ambitious project, including like building a new engine from scratch. I think maybe the first team member was a guy named John LaFleur, who was just a stellar game programmer. And the engine, which ultimately failed for Titan, ended up becoming the engine for Overwatch, which is a great success story for him. And the idea behind the game, it was going to take place in future Earth, and the players played as secret agents. And by day, they all had day jobs. And by night, they went off and did cool secret agent stuff. And the secret agent stuff was very first person shooter, but over the top abilities, like you would see in Overwatch, because that's where they came from. And the by day stuff, we were going to let you run businesses. We took a lot of influence from games like Animal Crossing, Harvest Moon, The Sims. We had a brilliant game designer and game director named Matt Brown, who was the creative director on The Sims. He came over. And so we had this vision that there was going to be all this like daytime business house stuff. You could build a house, you could live in a neighborhood. And beyond that, there was also a vision on the technical side, game design and technical side, that unlike World of Warcraft, which the modern day term for is that it's sharded.
Mm-hmm.
So meaning people play on different realms or servers. And a WoW server, I haven't been on that team in a very long time, but back in the day, you might have 5,000 people on a WoW server before they'd have to spin up another WoW server. The big idea behind Titan is that everybody would play on one server. It was a one server, one world game. And the world was massive. It was going to take place in future Earth. And we were literally building, like, we have what we call Bay City, which was San Francisco. We had, Hollywood. And then we had to build all of California between that. And we also wanted to build like Cairo and London. And there's this realization of like, how do we connect all of these? The game had driving in it, like full-blown, like GTA-style driving. It was such a gargantuan, huge undertaking with a brand new engine, a brand new team, a brand new IP, intellectual property, setting, which we really wrestled over. Like the amount that the IP just, trying to figure out, like, are there aliens or not aliens? Like all that sounds kind of dumb and fun, but when you're building a game, like especially world building, you have to have rules. That's what makes world building work, is that like this exists in this world and this doesn't. And why? It's like, because someone said so and just the way it needs to be. But that development started in 2007, kind of as ideation, brainstorming, early work, really got going in late 2007. And then I had to ship Wrath of the Lich King. And it was, we had we always did like a champagne toast. I still remember it because it was election day. I think it was like election day and my birthday and the day Obama got elected. And then I left the WoW team on that day. It was like memorable in all those ways. And then I joined the Titan team. And that game, we went on, like the fast forward part of that is we shut it down in 2013. That was one of the most painful development processes that I've ever been a part of. And probably deep into 2009, I knew that the game in its current form could never ship and would never exist. And by 2010, like after numerous times trying to convince the powers that be that like this game is not going to happen, it's in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going to Mike Morheim in 2010 and like you're going to the CEO of, at that time Blizzard was a big company and I'm like, you got to shut us down. Like, we're just going to burn money.
What was your intuition about why? So, like, from my understanding, there was a few issues. So, one was such a gigantic world, which, by the way, is a beautiful dream. This kind of universe simulator, because I love every game you mentioned there is great. I empathize with the dream. I would love to play that game. But one of the issues, as I understand, was it was unclear what, like, the quest flow is. Like, what are you supposed to really do in this game? What's the thing that connects all of the pieces together?
So it was a multifaceted failure for many reasons. Um, Ultimately, the failure of Titan lies with leadership, team leadership, myself included. Like, there's just no getting around that. And then on top of that, like a lot of games you can point to as being like an engineering failure, like the servers didn't work,
Mm-hmm.
or like an art failure, like no one responded to the look of the game, or design failure, like it's just not fun or it's tuned poorly. We failed on art, engineering, and design. And I'm cautious about calling out art because some of the best art ever made at Blizzard was made for Titan.
Mm-hmm.
My criticism isn't of the art that was created. My criticism is that we never had any art cohesion. So the art looked like it could have come from 10 different games.
Mm-hmm. And we should say it cost $83 million across those years. So, large team doing a lot of stuff, but not converging towards a game that can actually ship.
Correct. As like a game designer, I use semantics a lot and I like to define my semantics so people know where I'm coming from. Talking about ideas versus vision for a second. Ideas are easy. Ideas, I can have 10 in 10 seconds, let's make a 2D platformer about a mouse, whatever. Like you can I want a secret agent by day is, doing all this cool shooting stuff. By night is running a flower shop. Ideas are just infinite. At least on creative teams, you have no shortage of ideas. What I call vision is the ability to not only take a great idea, but shepherd it into existence. And you're doing that through inspiration, first and foremost. If you need a team to make it, you need a team to believe in the vision of the idea. And then there also has to be a technological plan for the idea. There has to be a design plan. There has to be an art style for the plan. There has to be a pragmatic production reality to the plan. And Titan kind of was like, that was the hubris of Blizzard in that era at its height of, we were over being hurt about, World of Warcraft. I don't know if people are going to like it. And we were now in the era of like, we made World of Warcraft. We can do no wrong. This next thing is going to be the best ever. And there was also a lot of what I call anticipatory hiring, or like there's opportunity hiring, and then there's also anticipatory hiring. I have the exact opposite hiring philosophy. I won't hire anybody on any team until like we're feeling like we got to work overtime, or like we might not ship if we don't get, somebody else in here. And Titan kind of had that hubris of like, well, we're going to build a really big world. We don't know the story of the world yet. We don't really have it mapped out what it should be like. We don't have the art style really defined. We don't know technically how we're going to make the art or what the constraints of it are. But we know we're going to build a really big world. So let's just start hiring environmental artists. And like in 1 year, we would hire like 70 environmental artists from all over the world. We're getting visas and like the top tier talent, because at the height of World of Warcraft, and nobody knew the team that they were coming on. It was Blizzard's next MMO, top secret. And they, their first day at work, like some, poor guy from Belgium just shows up, and he's at his first day at work and he's like, "Oh, are we making World of StarCraft? Is that?" And they're like, "No, dude, let me show you it." And he's like, "What is this game?" We were in that world, and we hired way too many people. The right way to incubate a video game is you have the smallest group possible, and you try to get the idea across with whatever technology you can get your hands on, using other engines, using art from whatever. You prove out that idea, and once you know what you're doing, then you expand the team. The cliche of idle hands is the devil's work or whatever. You have these like brilliant team, huge, and we don't have a roadmap for what we're making or how we're going to make it. And now you're having to deal with all these people. Like they're coming into your office. You're trying to figure out, what is the quest flow? How do I design the quest system for Titan? How can we prototype it? And we're like, oh, this prop artist over here is running out of stuff to do. What props should he make? Should he work on Chinatown or the Hollywood set? And you're just making up busy work. The engine didn't work. When we would run playtests on Titan, we would have to tell the team, stop checking in because it slows us down. We had this really great technical artist, guy named Dylan Jones, and he was on Titan with us. And I remember in like the last days, we asked him, because he was a very active user. Titan editor was called Titan Edit, or TED, which is, to this day, TED is the proprietary tool for Overwatch, since Overwatch came from the Titan engine, which was Tank. And we said to Dylan, I want you to log your uptime in the editor in TED. And in a 40-hour week, he was only able to work for 20 hours. And you can imagine you're building a team of the best in the best in the industry, and they can't work. So not only are you just burning cash faster than anybody on the planet, it's also like, imagine having fighter pilots, but we don't let them fly.
Yeah.
Like the creative frustration and the way that that manifested itself, and how demoralized the team got. It was a disaster.
And so many elements of that were done completely differently for Overwatch, which turned out to be this incredibly masterful execution on a short time scale with a small team with a clear vision. I read that sort of if you were to compare Overwatch and Titan, so the defining characteristic for the Titan team that said yes to everything and the Overwatch team said no to everything, meaning focus, like deep focus on the execution of a very clear vision. And maybe that's the process of designing games, like you said, is, you know, on a team that's full of incredible ideas because it's creative minds, it's constantly saying no. It's a really painful process, but perhaps it is the responsibility of leadership to just keep saying no, which sucks. I guess it sucks to be a leader on a team in that sense because you're constantly saying no.
Being a creative leader, you're in two modes. You're pushing or you're pulling. And whatever mode you're in is the exact opposite of the team.
Mm-hmm.
When they're not thinking outside the box enough or like elevating the vision enough, that's when you're pushing them. Like, come on, guys, don't worry about the schedule. We got, capture hearts and minds, inspire people. And when they're going a little crazy and endless source of great ideas and really fun development, that's when you got to pull and say, guys, we need to ship this. The best feature we can add for the player is shipping. That was a common phrase that we had.